Greetings. This is Mr. Nobody, the MAGA Republican. Now, another series on the MAGA Republican. And this time, Ukraine. So, we get differing reports. There are people who support the war in Ukraine. There are people who don't. Where really are we? Where should we be? What makes sense? That's really what being a MAGA Republican is about. If there's any defining quality that has shown itself over and over again among the MAGA Republicans, is an extraordinary rich dose of common sense. And we need that common sense. So let's look. What's going on over there in Ukraine? You have parts of this country, especially Crimea, but some other areas, that actually want to be under Russia. They want it. You just got to let them go. Now, let's use a little history here. Back after the Soviet Union fell in 1990, what began to happen after that was that some parts of Russia didn't want to be Russia anymore. At first, they fought to keep them on, but it was just kind of meaningless and stupid, and they kind of realized far better let them go and set up treaties with them. That's all. So you have these other parts that used to be part of Russia. Now they're like independent nations, but you have treaty alliances with them. They're your friends. You don't try to control them. You don't keep your soldiers in them and say, no, you have to be part of us and under our rule from Moscow. You stop that. You let them be their own countries, and then you just have some treaties that you'll help. If there's a mutual concern, you'll help each other. That's fair. That's reasonable. And a number of various, republics that used to be parts of Russia. All these, I don't know. Well, Ukraine was one of them. Places like Lithuania, Estonia, all these different parts of mostly Europe and some other places in the Middle East didn't have to be Russia per se. Let them go. Just let them go. And they can still have them as friends rather than as somebody you have to be constantly at war with to try to keep them under your thumb. Sometimes you just gotta let them go. And this is what Ukraine should do, because it wasn't Ukraine's government was some great, wonderful thing. Maybe they're getting better or not, I don't know. But the point is, there were places in Ukraine, and especially in the eastern parts of it, that preferred the government of Russia to the government of Ukraine. They wanted to leave. They tried to leave. They fought to leave. The wisest thing, and now Russia's coming in there and saying, we're helping these parts. Reclaim, they want to be a part of us. Well, if they want that, you got to let them. Just as Russia had to do on the bigger scale in the 1990s, it's time for Ukraine to do on its scale. Now, that isn't to say that Ukraine should not protect its own interests. Henry Kissinger actually put it best when he envisioned there being a line drawn somewhere down in the middle or wherever in the former nation of Ukraine, and you have East Ukraine and you have West Ukraine. And East Ukraine would be friendly to the Russians, sort of like East Germany. And West Ukraine would be friendly to the Western nations, like West Germany. And maybe this time Russia could not screw it up like they did with East Germany. They got a chance. Hey, great if they do. They're not commies over there anymore. Maybe they have a chance to do something right for a change. I'm willing to give them that chance. So I would say they should upgrade. The Ukrainian government should let those parts go. Just say, peace over there. Peace. You want these areas. They want you to have them. We're letting them go. You can have them. But we're still claiming this. Now suddenly you got something that they don't care about so much. They've got their insulation from NATO states. I don't know what they really need it for, but they'll have it. Because they'll have East Ukraine, which is going to be more partnered with them, than with the West. And that's okay. They could probably even be a little more friendly between the two of them than East and West Germany ever were. So they were ready to reunify anyway. So they don't have to be like that ready, but they can be somewhat friendly. They can have some peace treaties all around. That's probably the kind of thing that would be happening over there right now if we had Trump for president. Well, come on, 2024, we have a chance to make these things happen. Or we can keep pushing for World War III. I mean, yeah, we hear varying reports about Russia's military. Fact of the matter is, I've seen an advertisement, a little documentation that shows a typical Russian advertisement compared with an American advertisement. The Russian advertisement's all, you'll be learning all this, and you're handling these weapons, lock and load, and you're getting out there, and you're jumping into the mud, and you're getting ready to shoot, and you're ready to take them down. And I mean, I'm kind of like, wow, makes me wish I was 20. Sign me up, I mean, it's good stuff. This is an army I could be proud to be a part of. Except it's the Russian army, but okay. But you get the idea. And this is their way to promote it. And this is the kind of person they want. They want soldiers that are ready to fight. They want to put a gun in their hand, they'll fight. And then you get the Western advertisement. Oh, Heather's had a wonderful life with her 2 mommies. And when she grew up, she realized she could realize her total feminine goals and strength by joining the army. You know what good she's going to be in combat? Nothing. And this is the thing. America's military has been sabotaged. We are sabotaged from the top down, from a commander-in-chief who is quite literally a Chinese asset, to generals who are open communists, who even openly admit to being the sort of loose lips that sink ships. This one guy saying, oh yeah, I had the secret back channel in Red China. If ever we were going to try to take them on or something, I was going to give them all of our battle plans and troop movements and everything else. He said that. He admitted to being a traitor. And we let him sit there as a general. Well, he didn't say that while Trump was around. If Trump had heard him say that, he wouldn't have been a general anymore. He wouldn't have been a private. He would have been somebody in, detention. What do you call it? When they're dishonorable discharge. He'd have been a dishonorable discharge. And that's what he should be. And any general-like mindset should right now be made a dishonorable discharge. That's what they should be. But no, we got these guys running our army. We got hardware, great hardware, but it's all been given away, sold off, whatever. And then even our military personnel, at the beginning of 2020, we had a lot of our military personnel who were born soldiers. They were born to do it. They were ready to do it. They belong out there in the battlefield. Put it out in their hand, put a gun in their hand, they'll fight, they'll make it worth everyone's while if they're out there in the battlefield. But those people have been rooted out, removed. They're probably among those who are out on the streets looking for a place to live if they don't have another way to live. Although they'll probably find ways, those people do. But, they put people out because, they weren't woke enough for us. They weren't politically correct enough. So all you got left is a bunch of politically correct Pollyannas that won't know what to do with a gun but stick a flower in the end of it. That's our military. And we're going to try to take on, anybody. As I always like to say, if we had to go to war with Samoa right now, we would lose. That's how horrible we are. We don't want to go to war. There are a lot of countries out there still think we're something. Well, as long as they make that mistake, that's a very precarious piece. But basically anything we could say to them is just a big fat bluff. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't back up any military claim we made. Right now, our military is useless now. So that's one reason we don't want to go to war against Russia. They still got all those nuclear warheads. They'll drop them on us and anywhere else. And there really won't be much we can do. We just get bombed. And there it is. It would be different if we got a good, strong military, well-equipped, full of people who have business being soldiers, you see, led by generals who really believe in the United States and the Constitution and so forth, and at the head of it all, a commander-in-chief who, like Trump, is a real patriot. Now with that, if we had to go to war, well, that's why we had peace. Having all that is why we didn't have to go to war. Why it is that the time when Trump was here was a time of peace, because they knew the alternative. And nobody was going to take that on. Now, these nations are gradually figuring out, the American military is just a paper tiger. And if they gradually find that out, they're going to try stuff and they're going to say, oh, look, we can send balloons over America. They don't even care. Find out where all their weapons are. Find out where their manufacturing plants are. Find out where their bases are. Find out, where everything is. Take these places out in a handful of missiles. And America will, a lot of America's even forgotten how to make the weapons they used to make. So we're going to be in big trouble. We're not only heading for war, we are so ill-equipped for war that maybe it's going to take the war itself to make us able to handle one. If we don't get wiped out first. I don't want us to go to war when we're so unprepared. That's so ridiculous. And that's just plain common sense. So, yes, we care about Ukraine. Yes, we feel sorry for what's going on. Yes, we want to help. And yes, I think we should be working for a very peaceable plan. Coming to the table and saying, okay, how about this, Mr. Putin? We'll let you have these parts of Ukraine, and we'll keep these parts. We can call those East Ukraine, and they can be a nation. That can be your own puppet nation. We don't care. And we'll have this other part, and it'll be friends with us. And we can struggle and agree and negotiate on where we're going to put the line exactly and all that kind of stuff. But we'll come up with something. Let's stop blowing the hell out of the people there, let alone anywhere else. That things have gone astray. Sometimes it might be more than going astray. So that's what to say about it. We do care. We do want Ukraine to stand firm. But we also know that even parts of Ukraine doesn't want Ukraine. They want Russia. And those parts should just be allowed to have it peacefully, reasonably. Just let them have it. So that's how you get peace. And right now, as long as they think we have enough power for us to be worth listening to, more fools they, that's what we should be saying. That's what America should be saying. And hopefully, someday we can get somebody who will actually help us build up a real military back up again, as we had it not that long ago. Anyway, that's the MAGA Republican position. Oh, one more thing. We send lots of support for Ukraine. Amazingly enough, Russians haven't bombed us for it. Probably one of the reasons why is that some of that help doesn't actually end up helping them at all. They turn right around, they sell off the weapons to who knows who, probably the Middle Eastern terrorists and what have you. They sell off, and they take the money, and they'll send that back. And guess where they're sending it to? They're sending it to our own Democrat Party so that they can, ruin this nation even more. Well, if Ukraine wants anything more from us, they need to stop. They need to bring those practices to an absolute halt. Which I think, once we make it clear that's how things are, because they have no business involving themselves in American, political systems. They have no business doing that. And that's all we're asking. They don't have to try to do the same thing for the other side or our side or this side or that side. Just not do that at all. Very simple. And besides, it'll just be all the more weapons supplies for their own needs anyway, if they really care about what they're fighting for. That's one last point. That's what we have. That would have to be the MAGA Republican position about Ukraine. Thanks.